this is Dr. Liv with New Insight, and thank you so much for joining me in another video. In today's video, I'm providing insight into how to process painful thoughts and emotions. When something painful happens, our minds naturally focus on what we've lost. We think about the relationship that ended, the opportunity that slipped away, the dream that didn't happen, the betrayal, the disappointment, the rejection. Our attention becomes consumed by the pain, and that's understandable. Our brains are wired to notice threats, losses, and danger. That's part of survival. But here's what often gets overlooked. Healing isn't about pretending the pain never happened. Healing is about learning to process the pain without allowing it to become the only story you tell yourself. And one of the hardest parts of healing is changing the narrative in your mind. Clients often ask me, how do I stop thinking so negatively? How do I change the way I feel? The answer isn't about forcing yourself to think positive. It's about learning to think differently. Our emotions follow the meaning we assign to our experiences. If the meaning you give every painful experience is, I'm a failure, nothing ever works out for me, I'll never be happy, my life is ruined, your emotions will naturally reflect these beliefs. But if you begin changing the narratives, your emotions slowly begin changing too. And this is one of the foundations of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's not about denying reality. It's choosing a healthier interpretation of reality. Because sometimes what initially looks like a loss eventually becomes one of the greatest turning points in your life. You may not believe that today, but many people discover this only after looking back. Sometimes the breakup protected you from years of unhappiness. Sometimes not getting the promotion opened the door to a career that fits you even better. Sometimes losing people teaches you how valuable healthy relationships really are. Sometimes a closed door or perceived failure develops resilience that success never could. Sometimes pain reveals strengths you never knew you possessed. Sometimes your greatest setback becomes the beginning of your greatest growth. And that doesn't mean the pain wasn't real. It doesn't mean what happened wasn't fair. And it doesn't mean you're supposed to be grateful for trauma. It simply means that healing asks a different question. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, what can I learn from what happened? Because this shift changes everything. Maybe you didn't get married, but perhaps you avoided marrying someone who wasn't emotionally healthy. Maybe you didn't have children, but perhaps this season gives you time to heal yourself before becoming the parent you want to be. Maybe the relationship ended, but maybe you're finally free from anxiety, walking on eggshells, emotional abuse, or constantly questioning your worth. Maybe you didn't get the promotion, but you still have a roof over your head. You still have food on the table. You still have skills. You still have opportunities ahead of you. Maybe life isn't where you want it to be, but there are still things worth appreciating. And while gratitude does not erase grief, the two can exist together. You can say, for example, I'm heartbroken, and still be thankful for the people who stayed. You can say, I wish things had turned out differently, but still accept that I cannot change the past. You can say, I didn't get what I wanted, but I still gained wisdom I never would have learned otherwise. This is emotional maturity, psychological flexibility, and healing. So when you're processing a painful situation, try asking yourself these questions. What did this experience teach me? How has this experience made me stronger? What boundaries will I have because of this? What warning signs do I recognize now that I didn't before? What strengths did I discover in myself? Who showed up for me during this difficult time? What am I grateful for despite what happened? What do I want to carry into my future? And what do I want to leave behind? Notice how these questions don't minimize the pain. They help you grow through it, because there can be gain within loss. Sometimes the gain is wisdom, it's peace, freedom, self-respect, boundaries, faith, confidence, and sometimes it's discovering who you really are. So the challenge for your mental and emotional health is to process life's difficulties in a way that is rational, helpful, and constructive. Learn to challenge negative narratives so that they don't keep you stuck. And I'll leave you with this reflection. Practice completing these statements for yourself to help you process painful, distressful thoughts and emotions. They are, even though, for example, even though we broke up, even though I didn't get the promotion, even though life didn't go according to my plan. The next statements are, I'm thankful for, I accept, I'm letting go of, I learned, or I'm taking this lesson with me. And here's the conclusion that I've come to. Know that every painful chapter has the potential to become part of a stronger story. The question isn't whether pain will visit your life. The question is, what meaning will you choose to give it? Will you turn it into power and purpose? Healing begins the moment you stop focusing only on the lost and begin discovering what you have gained. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.